I'm not going to blame anybody, but give me a chance here. I'm not going to blame anybody if they say, hey, my gosh, Ward, the football scheduling is not that big of a deal. You got to lighten up, man. A football schedule 2 years out does not seem like that big of a deal. What are you so upset about? Fair point. I can explain. I know someone would say the Southeastern Conference, of which Oklahoma and Texas are joining, man, what's the big deal? 8 or 9 league games. Can anyone really care that much? And my answer is there's more to it than that. Actually, a lot. There's far more to this than whether or not you're going to play 8 or 9 games. I'll make the bigger argument this way. And I think there's even audio to prove my point. All that is wrong with the industry of college football, I think, is on display with the SEC scheduling mess. Every bureaucratic, and I'm not going to miss the chance to make Lumberg jokes, okay? Lumberg, of course, was the boss in Office Space. I feel like Lumberg is running this entire thing. This thing is so bureaucratic, it's nauseating. Every time, you've heard me say this countless times, the beauty of the NFL, and the difference between the NFL and college football is the NFL cares about one thing. You, the show, the entertainment value. They'll do anything to make sure you enjoy that show. College football will do everything to make it painful to watch the show, including this. The SEC scheduling mess with the introduction of Oklahoma and Texas is not just about playing 8 or 9 games. It's about all that's going into this and all the politics and all the bureaucracy and all the mind-numbing explanations about committees. So this is the commissioner of the SEC. It is the ultimate home to football factories, right? You know that. His name is Greg Sankey. And he is blabbing away. I mean, you're going to fall asleep any minute. He is blabbing away just like Lumberg did in Office Space. What were the reports that Lumberg would talk about in Office Space? TS reports. What were they called?
TPS reports.
TPS reports. This is Lumberg. This is the football equivalent of Lumberg talking to you about the TPS reports.
Well, there's unity, and in some ways that's unique among conferences right now. And we've announced our excitement about being joined by Oklahoma and Texas. I think that's not news to you, but had to work through, given their earlier transition, how do we make a decision about a football schedule, announce that we'll play eight conference games, we'll maintain the required opponent among our, if you will, Autonomy 5 colleagues or major independent. We're going to eliminate divisional play in 2024. That means the top 2 teams atop our conference standings at the end of that season will meet in Atlanta for our championship game. We obviously have the need to make a long-term strategic decision. And while we continue to go through those various considerations, we think about non-conference scheduling, we think about our own conference scheduling, we think about the playoff, we think about bowl eligibility. This emerged really as the right interim step. In a way, with the input from our schools, we're going to plan to honor many of our key rivalries. I think those are obvious, and we'll announce the matchups of the games on the SEC network on June 14th.
I can't take it. Like, to a lot of you, your eyes are glazing over. You're thinking, that's my Zoom meeting every day with my boss, Ward. I hear that all the time. My gosh, stop it. Stop it. Blah, blah, blah. The problem with Lumberg and everything here, here's the problem, and let me come at it what I think is the right way for all of you, for fans, for people that are casual fans. This is so typical of college sports. That nonsensical, bureaucratic, committee after committee garbage that he was just saying is exactly why that game is not very good. And why, if I were Texas and or Oklahoma, but Texas certainly has the power, I would say, shut up, Lundberg. Here's the way it's going to work. But obviously nobody does that. So let me explain to you why this is a problem and how it could easily be fixed in a different world. The problem is Lundberg here, that's the commissioner of the SEC, who's, quote, widely respected. Yeah, by the neighborhood association. That's what this is. It's just a bunch of dorks in the neighborhood association. Nobody really does anything. They don't really move the needle at all. So the problem is Lundberg here is listening to the wrong people. Have you ever heard me use the term breathe your own exhaust fumes? This is something I have used with students for a long time. And this is something everybody, not to get off course to what really matters in life, but this is what eats businesses alive. And that is breathing your own exhaust fumes. And we've all worked at a place. At some point, you may work at a place now where you are so self-serving. You sort of you talk about everything that matters between the four walls that you're inside of and not the market. The market is all that matters. How your feelings inside, your thoughts inside, what they want is all that matters. And so I've told my students for years, don't do this. Don't do what's easy. Don't do what's fast. Don't do what's self-serving. Do what the market wants. Stop talking to each other. Stop breathing your own exhaust fumes. Well, Lundberg here, this Sankey guy with a sweater on, I don't sleep much. That guy could do it to me. He's the league commissioner. And he's listening to the wrong people, and he and his other dorks are breathing their own exhaust fumes. And it's a problem here. I think it's a real problem. He's worried about the wrong people. He's worried about the members. We all feel good about each other. Well, who gives a flip about how you feel? We're the ones buying the tickets. The networks are the ones putting on the show, so shut your face. See, that's what the NFL doesn't do, is exactly what that dork just did. My members are all pleased. We don't care how you feel. The show is for us. See? So the league is saying we want to set up a plan. This is what I know you went to sleep. I'm doing the best I can to bring you back. The league, the SEC, is saying we need to set up a plan for 2024. That's when Oklahoma and Texas start playing. And then go forward after that. Meh. What a bureaucratic position. In other words, this is Lundberg saying we're going to get a committee to review what the subcommittee has decided and have 2 years of meetings about what the subcommittees have decided they think they want to do. Then we'll study it further. That's what that was. The more input you get, Lundberg, from your own people, the longer it's going to take. Stop trying to make your members happy, Lundberg, and learn from the NFL. Make the audience happy. What Lundberg doesn't do and what college football doesn't do and what these members all in sweaters getting bagels and for the morning, and they have those name tags and handbooks and, oh my gosh, it's everyone's worst corporate nightmare, right? What the NFL does is make the audience happy. Done. See, the network and the ticket-buying public are all that matters, Lundberg. Not how Nick Saban feels, not how some athletic director dork at some other school. None of that matters. None of it matters. This is what has to happen to college sports, what happens in the NFL. Networks and platforms write giant checks, and they say, I want ratings. So Lundberg, I don't care how you feel and who you guys want to play and don't play and whether you think you should play 6 games here and 10 there. Well, none of us care. What you're going to do is give us some ratings. That's what you're going to do, Lundberg. That's the way it works. I write the checks. You give me the show. So Nick Saban's opinion doesn't matter. Nick Saban whining about who he has to play doesn't matter. The dorks are going to end up in the same spot in a year. Right now, they want to have 8 games instead of 9. That's just stupid. Okay? And I'll explain to you why it's stupid. It's stupid on the front end because it gives no concern to what we want to watch. Okay? You made each other happy. you spread your games out so they're not too hard. And you try to make everyone in the room happy. Alabama doesn't want to have to play those guys and those guys and those guys. So, okay, we'll make them happy and them happy and them happy. And in the process, you've done something stupid. You've got these meaningless championship games that are stupid. The whole setup is pathetic. And it's not going to change a year from now. So, look, the decision is easy. So you might as well start in 2024. First of all, you've known that Texas and Oklahoma are joining your league. Deal with it. Deal with it. You guys in all your bagels and whatever Ramada Inn you're meeting at, just say, let's get this figured out now. Let's take a look at some numbers. What do the numbers say? What shows are the best? What does the network want? That's where you start. You don't start by making somebody a sweater happy. And so what you've done by making someone a sweater happy is you've scheduled 8 games that aren't any different than what you have now. Okay? So in 2024, it's real simple. You play 9 games, 9 league games. You do away with the wasteful championship that can only hurt. You leave in the, quote, 2-set rivalry games. You screw with those, you're ruining viewership. The network should have told Lumberg right away. Don't do away with these rivalry games, you jackass. Keep them. That's what people like. Remember, buddy, we're in the like business. We're not in the bureaucracy business. We're in the like showbiz business. So you give them the rivalry. So you play 9 games, do away the stupid championship. You have 2 rivalry games set, done. I don't care what Missouri says. I don't care what anyone says. The networks want us to have A&M and Texas playing each other. They want to have Oklahoma and Texas playing each other. And so that's what we're going to do, Missouri. So shut your trap. It's real easy. You don't have to put this off. You bureaucrat, you didn't have to do any of that stuff. The NFL reinvents itself in one afternoon. It'll come up with a new rule in a half an hour. So you set up 2 rivalry games. You play 9 games. Of those 7 SEC games that are available, I think my idea gets better and better and better. Have some ping pong balls drop out. That's who you're playing. It's fun. It's exciting. It's different. So this isn't just about, I know I sounded like yesterday, I was like, Texas, this is a deal breaker. It's not even that. It's just so symptomatic of this lackluster, boring, self-serving industry that screws over the ticket-buying public. His schedule set up and the way they're going to do this Lumberg guy. So, if you go to an A&M game or you spend all the money to go to these games, you're going to get some lousy games in there. And they should do everything they can to not let that happen. Instead, all they're really worried about is making each other comfortable and keeping things just as they are. And in the process, they're screwing over the viewing public, and in the process, they're screwing over the ticket-buying public. It could have been fixed. You'd have to put it off for a year. You walk into the Ramada Inn and say, hey, everybody, the network said we got to give a better show. Let's go. So here's what we're going to do to make it a good show. Don't raise your hand again, sweater man. Shut up. This is what we're going to do. They want ratings. We're going to give them ratings. The public wants to see great games. We're going to give them great games. We're going to start with rivalries. We're keeping them in place. There's 2 a year. If you don't have a rivalry right now, Missouri, get one. That's the way it's going to work. We're in showbiz.